40-year-old Joshua Ade is charged with 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide and 2 counts of first-degree attempted intentional homicide. Ade stands accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend, Rebecca Burkowski, her father, James Grutner, and John Miller, a family friend. Prosecutors argued that Ade could not accept that Burkowski had ended the relationship and went on a shooting rampage. Miraculously, Rebecca Burkowski and John Miller survived, despite both being shot in the head. Burkowski's father, however, did not, and was pronounced dead at the scene. But Ade and his defense team claim Burkowski, seeking to cash in on an insurance policy, was actually the one who conspired with her father and his friend to kill him. He only opened fire, he says, to save his life. If convicted of all charges, Ade is looking at life in prison without the possibility of parole. Rebecca Burkowski and Joshua Ade first met while enlisted in the Marines and had a tumultuous 5-year relationship. They began dating covertly in 2015 while Ade was married to another woman. After Ade's marriage failed, Burkowski lived with him briefly, but it was a toxic relationship. Rebecca eventually moved from Monticello to Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Rebecca's characterization of this relationship was that, Josh would drink too much, things would get out of hand. She reached a decision that this relationship didn't have a future.
Can you tell me what happened in your relationship in the spring of 2020?
I was tired of being scared. I was tired of fearing for my life. I built up enough courage to finally end it with him.
In July of 2020, Rebecca planned to return Joshua's belongings to him.
She intended to finalize the breakup by returning all of the defendant's property to his home.
But they had this lingering issue of this shared Tahoe. Rebecca needed to get that back to Joshua.
The defendant's home is in Monticello, Wisconsin, which is over 2 hours drive from Oshkosh. Rebecca was concerned about driving the Tahoe that distance due to a mechanical issue.
Rebecca turned to her parents and said, I've got this situation. Her dad stepped up immediately and was wanting to help out. And that's also how John Miller got involved.
My girlfriend Carla has known Julie and Jim Grutner for probably 38 years, and she really wanted me to meet them. So we drove up there, and we were going to spend a couple of days. And Jim and I met, and we just hit it off. We were both recovering alcoholics, and we hit it off like we were 2 brothers from a different mother. And then his daughter called, and she needed this truck fixed. I volunteered to do it. I mean, I'm a mechanic. They needed help. I help people. That's what I do.
When were you aware that plans to replace this radiator were now going to be appearing on August 4th?
On August 4th. She told me. I believe it was through text and phone call.
She wanted that truck out of her garage, so we went and did it.
And on August 4th, Rebecca set the final date to lure Josh out to Oshkosh with a simple phone call at approximately 5:30 p.m. telling him that they were working on the Tahoe. And following that, she did not accept any of his return calls.
Rebecca gets tired of dealing with these phone calls, so she actually puts her cell phone in her truck.
Ade claims that Rebecca was going to leave his belongings on the street and that he needed to collect them. He left his house in Monticello at 6 p.m. and drove towards Oshkosh.
John and James, meanwhile, are working on this Tahoe.
So I came out from underneath the truck, started picking up all the tools. Becky was on the passenger side of the truck.
Next thing I knew, I had looked to my right, and there was Josh. At first, I just kind of looked at him, and he said, "Hey, boo, what you doing?"
Josh shot Rebecca, and then he opened fire on James. James was killed instantly.
I heard pop, pop, and I turned to look, and the infrared was right here on my nose, and I shot out like that, and he caught me in the side of my jaw here, and it came out of here. I ran behind the car, and somehow or another, I passed right in front of him, and he didn't see me. I couldn't get nobody to call the police. I'm bleeding like a pig. I finally ripped open somebody's screen door, said, call the police, I need help. 3 people have been shot.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Winnebago 911, Corey.
You gotta get the 1700 block of Minnesota Street right now. There's been people shot here.
I have officers headed over there.
I'm hearing the sirens come, and I look out his window, and I can see Josh's red vehicle leave. So I went back to the scene. Jim was dead. And Becky was moaning. And I told her, hang on, help's on the way.
The police arrived within minutes of the phone call.
All right, I got one down by the car. 436, we have 1 male in the back driveway. We have 1 female inside the garage. Where are you hit? Oh no. Do you know who did this?
Name is Josh. Aid.
Stop the vehicle. Sheriff's office.
Sheriff's office.
Turn off the vehicle.
It's armed and dangerous.
Just come out with your hands over your head. Just walk towards me, okay, Josh? All right, just keep coming towards me. Go down to your knees for me, Josh. We just got to put you in handcuffs, okay? We were told that you had a gun. We just want to make sure you're okay.
Less than a year after his arrest, Joshua Aid's trial is set to begin on May 3rd, 2021. There's no denying Aid is the shooter, but he insists he's not guilty of a crime. Can he and his defense team convince a jury that he was just defending himself?
During the course of the preliminary hearings, Joshua put in a plea of not guilty. It's around this time that the defense that is presented in trial starts to emerge, that it was an ambush, and that his firing of the weapon 3 times was actually in self-defense.
Did you feel at that point that you had any choice but to fire?
I did not. It was a situation of life or death at that point.
Now, are you aware of SGLI insurance that pays out regardless of cause of death?
That is correct.
That includes suicide or homicide?
Correct. Payout is $100,000 immediate upon death certificate and the remaining balance within 2 weeks.
Who is the beneficiary of that?
Rebecca Borkowski.
Why was she the beneficiary?
I don't get along with my family well, so I decided to turn it over to her.
According to the defense, if Joshua was murdered, Rebecca stood to benefit financially.
Rebecca appears to respond to you after learning that you had called John Miller and told him not to come to her house. And then you respond, is he your new boyfriend? Because he ain't a certified mechanic.
That is correct.
He thought I was her boyfriend. She's just as old as my daughter. I mean, it was a jealous rage.
Please, the jury find the defendant, Joshua W. Aid, guilty in all 3 counts.
After only 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Joshua Aid guilty on all 3 charges, 1 count of intentional homicide and 2 counts of attempted intentional homicide.
They came back with that verdict so fast, I already knew he was guilty. I was completely relieved. Not one time did he take responsibility. He might not have got it so hard if he just admitted it.
Life imprisonment is the only just sentence.
Joshua Aid was sentenced to life in prison plus 80 years, without the possibility of parole.